Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Malikicowtipper bringing you another game of StarCraft 2. Tonight my opponent's going to be Akira, who has almost double the played games that I do, so this ought to be a pretty interesting match, and map is going to be on Xel'Naga Caverns. This is just one of my all-time, favorite Zerg maps, and I think I just like it because there's a lot of wide open space. There's Xel'Nagas here in the middle that actually makes sense. There's expansions that are just ripe for the picking, and overall one of my favorite maps. So I will be in the lower left-hand corner of Xel'Naga Caverns. Akira will be in the upper right-hand corner, and you're going to see a pretty standard. You can see that Akira just warming up, setting the rally point to different mineral plots, getting stuff up and running. Going to be a pretty standard opening from both of the players, me and Akira so far. So moving the Overlord right out to the front helps to spot anything incoming. Usually, if I'm facing a Terran or a Zerg, I'll actually put my Overlord more out here in the center, but against a Terran, I just don't like the idea of one silly little Marine running up and, just poking away at my Overlord. The last thing I want to be is supply capped, even though I know it's a minute into the game, there's not going to be any Marines out right now. That's just absolutely ridiculous. But, you know what? I don't care. But, as you can see, Akira definitely warming up with the APM right there, getting his up to about 130. Mine, I'll be bringing mine up, but I'm generally pretty slow. Like, if we check out the Malikicowtipper cam right here in the beginning of the game, I keep an eye on my minimap a lot, and I tend, I'm just kind of chill in the beginning of the game. I've got my opening build, 16 hatch, 15 extractor, 14 pool, down pretty good, and I like the build. It's very solid. We can take this off the Cowtipper cam, and it just gives me a lot of flexibility, and especially on a map like Xel'Naga Caverns. And actually right up here, I'm kind of happy I delayed his barracks by probably, 10, 15, maybe about 10 seconds right there. It's just a small little pick-me-up, but frustrating for the Terran player when your worker's being attacked right off the bat, and you got to pull another one off the line to go over here and, save that one. That way it can continue doing the building and just delay it a little bit. Everything you can get in a StarCraft 2 game is a pickup. You got to take everything for what it is. So there is my 16 hatchery. There's the 15 extractor, and then we're going to be doing a 14 pool right over there. So it's a seamless build, and the reason I like this is you never stop producing drones really to save up any money. Because you could build that 17th drone and then lay down the hatchery, but the reason I don't is it gives me just a little bit of runtime, so as soon as I hit 300, I can drop it down right there. I can have my extractor ready, I can transition 3 drones quickly right over to that, right when the pool's just about half done, and that gives me enough gas to drop a Bangling nest. If I'm going up against Terran almost right away, it means I don't have to wait too long to get my speed up and running. And there we see a fast factory going down from our Terran player over here, so usually when you see a fast factory, and I'm surprised I'm not seeing like a reactor or anything on, let's go back to the income tab right here, on this barracks over here is, well, he's probably just trying to get out a few Marines. Should be seeing a reactor. It's good for a Hellion harass early on in the game. Just dropping that down, there goes the engineering bay, right over there in the corner. And I'm not that familiar with Terran tech tree, so I don't really know what the engineering bay does for the Terran right off the bat, but okay, there we go. He's choosing to build a tech lab, which would probably mean he's going to be going for tanks, or, that right away. I think you actually need the engineering bay to do the armory. That makes sense. Yay, we can figure stuff out. So, I've got my second hatchery up down here, and we got a Bangling nest going down. That's right. Terran, Bangling nest always comes first, and that's cool because, there's 2 supply depots here. You can blow that up, and it's easy to get Zerglings in, and it's just a strategy I've been toying around with, is just placing a lot of early pressure on my Terran opponents and just seeing how they react. But what I find is that doing that, it keeps me from droning up, and sometimes if you don't win, it almost kind of feels like an all-in, because then you're not above economically, and you're just going to get, bulldozed over by Marines and Marauders with Stim Pack, or, there's going to be a fast Thor out there, and you're not going to have Infestors to deal with it or something. So, sending out a little pack of Lings, and right here, actually going to see that Hellion coming through, and if we go to the production tab right here, I'm producing speed, which has just started. I'm really late on getting my speed down this game. I've got 4 units worth of Zerglings, and this Hellion is just going to be able to work these Zerglings all day long over here. There's really not much they're going to be able to do, and right now, I actually want to see this right here. Both our APMs going up pretty high. His is still averaging over 100, mine just finally getting up there. But poking up here, I see the factory, I see this. I did miss the engineering bay, and now there's going to be, a new command center going down. He's going to prepare to expand because this Hellion, let's just keep tabs on this guy and see what he's able to do. So there's 1 kill. Good crispy Zergling right there. And I'm really, really lucky at this point in the game that there's not 2 Hellions, you know, out on the map, because that would just be really bad, but, you know, I might be able to get a surround on 2 of them, so all these guys getting pretty low in the health down there, but hasn't really been able to do much as far as the drones are concerned, but there we go, there's 1 more Zergling, so he's up to 2. Oh, can anyone get him? 3. Nope, he's just going to continue to get away, and has another Hellion back here. I would have liked to see that Hellion move up. We go to the income tab. Over here, 27 to 21, so I do have a slight economic advantage. My Zergling's just able to keep this Hellion at bay over here. So he's up to 10 kills on the Zerglings. He's got the pre-igniter now. I've got my speed, but that pre-igniter is just holy crap against Zerglings. It 2-shots them. 2 Hellions just roast entire lines of Zerglings at once. Now that I've got more new speedlings, get around here, get this round, and you go down with 14 kills to your name. Wow, you were just a hero. Now this is something that when I first moved up to Diamond League, I lost a lot of games right away, and I tried to think of things that I was doing or wasn't doing that might have been causing me to lose. And I know one of the things that I was not doing is I wasn't getting Overlords over here to scout expansions, or even just to turn them. I did this all the time in Bronze and in Silver League, maybe even in the Gold League, but completely stopped, I think, just because Mutilang, basically, I drove my way straight through Gold and Platinum using Mutilang, and I didn't really need to try that hard, but putting an Overseer outside your enemy's base and dropping Changelings over here is an incredibly effective way to see what's going on, and it helps you prepare so you're not just building in the dark. You know, I could build Mutilang and then run into nothing but Hellions and Thors, and then literally facepalm, because I could have spent half an hour doing that and feel like a complete retard as my army just completely falls. So, 29 to 23 Harvesters, fairly even on the economy game, just because he's got the mules, they give him a big economic advantage. I got my lair up, there's my Evo chamber, and a spire going down. Now, this Evo chamber was actually supposed to be an infestation pit, but I hit the wrong key as far as that goes, so, you know, whatever. I will end up using it anyway, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but we have 2 more Hellions coming out, but now that I've got some Speedlings and a decent, you know, just a little bit more creep to work with, they're not going to be as effective as they were before, just because I can catch them, I can get the surround on them, and I believe I've actually got a Changeling right over here in the base, so I spotted this and I saw 3 factories. Let's check out the Cowtipper cam and just see what I can see. So my Changeling over here, yeah, I know that he's got 3 factories over here in Engineering Bay. I know that the Armory is going up, so that's going to mean Thors. Lots and lots of Thors. These are both tech labs. And right here, these Hellions just moving around. Just going to be dominating the map and checking out what's going on. So I'm actually moving these guys up right here because I'm thinking maybe it's still not too late in the game. I can do a Bangling Bust or something, and that's when I realized, wow, he actually dropped the I Win building right over here. And I'm just kidding, Terran. This thing is not an I Win building, but god, it's powerful. So between that and a few missile turrets, it's going to be really hard for me to lay down any harass. I'm basically just going to have to accept the fact that this Terran is going to be on a second base for the time being, because I can hit this thing with, you know, as many Zerglings as I want, doing 5 damage to a 5 armor building. Yeah, that's smart. This Planetary Fortress with its splash damage and SCVs to repair it, not a chance. You need massive Banglings, Ultras, or a lot of Broodlords to deal with that, so this Changeling is still just kind of chilling over here, you know, not really caring too much about what's going on, but I'm still barely ahead in the economy, and for as long as I've had this second base up and running, I've really done a horrible job at saturating it. So there goes a Roach Warren, and there goes an Infestation Pit, because when I saw all of these factories, I knew that I'm going to need something more than Zerglings, you know, to deal with a bunch of Thors. Although Zerglings do pretty well against Thors, Infestors with Neural Parasite is really what you want, and there we go. These guys just roaching Zerglings like no one's business. 3 more Zerglings going down, but picking off the Hellions, so that's going to give me map control. At least he's not going to want to move these Thors out right now just down there lonesome, but realistically speaking, you know, he's got the big... I've had map control, I've got the more troops out on the field, but there's not much I can do about it at this point. Like, just the Terran defenses, whether it be missile turrets, planetary fortresses, wall-offs with units behind it, they're tough to break in these early games. I could throw a lot of Banglings at this, but that would be a lot of minerals, a lot of gas wasted just to do some superficial damage. Here come the Infestors. Now, I want to get them out early, even though I do not have Neural Parasite out, because they don't spawn with the energy to do that, and you need Neural Parasite, so that obviously delays your Pathogen Glam. So there's kind of a paradox there. I'm going to be getting ready to take my gold over here, and I have a few Overlords positioned just because I want to be able to know if there's going to be any drop play going on. I could be doing more drops with the Changelings over here. That would really be a smart move on my part, but holy 4 factories. Wow, that's just... That is just insane. So we're going Thor Hellion. So this is what I was talking about. If I were doing just a Mutaling build, I think I'd be in trouble if there's pre-ignited, Hellions and Thors out on the field, and planetary fortresses. That's just a horrible, horrible composition to have. So Roaches do much better. Hellions are basically ineffective against Roaches. Banglings do great. I plan on using these guys hopefully to blow up this planetary fortress or to kill any SCVs that might be with these Thors, because that's just annoying. Everybody knows it is, even the Terran, I think, except the fact that it's annoying, but I've actually slipped in my economy. He's ahead of me right now, 44 to 46 on the Harvester count, and I could be doing a way better job at spreading this creep. I'll have it a little bit more later on in the game, which is really beneficial. As a Zerg player, you want that creep. You want it just about everywhere you're going to be going. No air upgrades, no ground upgrades. I do have Roach Speed underway, and I actually have Pathogen Gland underway as well. So, right now is just kind of the building point in the game where both of us have decided that we're going to macro up. I know that the Planetary Fortress and the Missile Turrets, and now with the Thors, that I'm going to need a bigger army to deal with this, and he knows that he has the opportunity just to sit back here and build up this massive army. If we take a look at these factories, we go to the production tab, 3 Thors, Vikings, he's got building armor, we've got weapons coming out, so he's just taking his time. He's going to buff up, and I just sent in a few sacrifice Zerglings just to get an idea of what's going on. I see that he's got Vikings, he's got Thors, and that actually kind of makes me happy that I've only deployed a few Mutas, just because he's kind of gunning for the fact, I think, that I'm going to have Mutas and Zerglings out on the field. But you can see I've got a healthy number of Lings, like you would want to do. I've still got a lot of minerals, but I'm sitting on no gas. And I'll actually be dropping an expansion over here just for the sole sake of getting gas in a little bit, because I'm really going to need it. And I've got missile attacks level 1, I've got a second queen, more creep tumors, and there we go. I'm choosing to build some extractors over here now. And have I dropped any other changelings? I don't think I've dropped a single changeling since that first one. And checking out the army composition, I've outspent him by quite a bit, and unbeknown to me, I probably could move out and do a lot of damage. To the fact that he's only got 4 Thors, I've actually got 5 Infestors, so I could Neural Parasite every single one of these Thors, and that would just be, bye-bye right